Hello. So in the last video, we talked about holding the pick. And in this video, I want to talk about actually picking the strings with the pick. So you've got the pick between your thumb and your index finger, and you've got a loose fist. And the first choice you're going to have to make is whether you plant fingers on the mandolin or don't plant fingers on the mandolin. I think maybe it's about half and half with mandolin players I see. So the folks that plant will plant one or two fingers on the mandolin, and then they'll keep them planted there often the whole time, and they'll pick like that. I can't do it. I've tried it. Instead, I don't plant my fingers at all, and instead my forearm is resting here on the mandolin, and that's really my main point of contact. Sometimes I'll brush the bridge just a little bit. I do see some folks that'll actually plant on the bridge as well, but that seems to limit motion quite a bit. So I don't see a lot of folks that do that. And the main motion is at the wrist. Some folks will use more elbow, but most folks use minimal, if any, elbow and almost entirely just going up and down at the wrist. Some folks like kind of having one or more of these fingers kind of sticking out like this. They find that more comfortable and easy to stay relaxed. Some folks just keep the fingers tucked in a loose, relaxed wrist. So we have two pairs of strings. Each pair is tuned to the same note, usually. And you want to go through both strings to get the maximum volume and sound out of it. So when you're picking down, you want to be going through both G strings and then both D strings, both A strings, and both E strings. And then when you're picking up, the same thing. You want to go through both E strings, A strings, D strings, and then G strings. And to do so, you can't hold the pick real stiff and make it through both. You'll get stopped by the pick. So your options are either you turn your wrist with every pick so that you can make it through, which I did for a little while, and I see some people do that. Although most folks seem to just go straight up and down, which is what I do now. And instead, the grip on the pick is relaxed enough that the pick can wiggle as it goes through. And this is a little hard to see, so I made a little prop to demonstrate this. So if we pretend this is a pair of strings, like the G strings, we pretend this is a pick. So if you hold the pick stiffly, you're going to get stopped by the strings. So either you turn your wrist with every down pick and every up pick, or you hold it loosely enough that the pick can get its own angle and kind of drag through the strings like that without having to turn your wrist. The other question is kind of the angle this way of the pick. And everybody does it a little different. I see most folks have the neck up a little bit, so the strings are at a bit of an angle, and then they pick through like this. So functionally, you're like this angle, but really the instrument is doing it. And you can just picture yourself picking down toward the floor and straight up toward the ceiling to give you that little bit of angle. I do see some folks that go straight perpendicular to the strings, and there's even some folks that'll go the opposite direction. But I see most folks just using the neck up a little bit to give them this sort of angle. And then again, just nice relaxed grip will let the pick turn this way as it goes over the strings in both directions. So that's all I wanted to say about that. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.